Have you ever reached a point where you honestly couldn't figure out what else to do, what you were supposed to do next? You've read all the books, you've watched the videos, you've hired the coaches, you've learned all of the marketing, you've experimented with AI, you've built the funnels, you've created the content, you've prayed, you've worked harder, yet somehow your business always seems to feel a little bit heavier than it did a year ago. And if that's where you are today, I want you to hear something carefully. Maybe your business isn't stuck because you lack another strategy. Maybe it's stuck because you've been trying to solve the wrong problem every day. Thousands of Christian business owners wake up believing they just need one more breakthrough, one more system, one more platform, one more piece of software, one more marketing tactic. The problem is that every new strategy assumes that you've already identified the real issue, but most haven't. Imagine going to a doctor because your shoulder hurts without asking any questions, without running tests. He just hands you some medication for the migraines. Even if it's great medicine, it's not going to solve the shoulder problem. The medicine isn't bad, it's simply treating the wrong problem. And that's why many people are stuck doing what they're doing in business. They keep collecting solutions without ever confirming the diagnosis. They aren't lacking information, they're lacking clarity. There's a reason and a season where more information can give you an advantage. But today, information is everywhere. AI can generate content in seconds. You could learn almost any marketing strategy online for free. And the problem is now no longer access, it's discernment. How do you know which advice applies to you? How do you know which opportunity God actually wants you pursuing? And how do you know whether or not you're building according to His assignment or simply following whatever seems to be working for somebody else? That question changes absolutely everything because God has never asked His people to become copies of someone else. He calls individuals, He gives unique assignments, and He gives different gifts, different personalities, different strengths, different responsibilities. When we ignore those differences, we begin to force ourselves into business models that were never designed for us specifically. And then we wonder why everything feels exhausting. Scripture says in Proverbs 3, verses 5 and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. But in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your paths. Notice what that verse doesn't say. It doesn't say collect enough strategies until you finally figure it out. It doesn't say chase every trend. It doesn't say compare yourself to everyone else. It says trust, acknowledge Him, and allow Him to direct your path. That word path is personal. It's not someone else's, it's yours. One of the biggest mistakes that I see Christian entrepreneurs making is assuming that someone else's blueprint should become their blueprint. See, a coach succeeds not with daily live streams. Everyone starts to live stream if someone else does. Someone grows a YouTube channel, now everybody rushes to YouTube. Somebody builds with short videos, now everybody begins making short videos. But nobody stops long enough to ask one important question. Is this how God designed me to build? That question matters because your assignment determines your strategy, not the other way around. Think about the disciples. Peter wasn't John, John wasn't Paul, and Paul wasn't Barnabas. See, God never asked them to become interchangeable. He used different personalities to accomplish the same kingdom mission. So why would your business be any different? God designed you with certain strengths. He wired you to solve certain problems. He gave you experiences that someone else doesn't have. He gave you a voice that doesn't sound like anyone else's. The closer your business aligns with that design, I mean, you don't have to be that way. The more naturally it begins, the more naturally it begins to produce fruit. Jesus said, apart from me, you can do nothing. Notice He didn't say apart from better marketing or apart from better branding or apart from another funnel. The source has always been Him. When we stay connected to Christ, the fruit follows, not always overnight, not always according to our timetable, but genuine fruit always grows from healthy roots. Sometimes we see businesses plateau, and they aren't signs that you need more effort. Sometimes they're invitations to examine the very foundation. What assumptions have you accepted? Whose expectations are you trying to meet? What business model have you copied because it looked successful? What if the very thing that you've been trying to fix isn't broken? What if you simply been building for someone else's blueprint? In Romans 12, it tells us not to conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds. Transformation begins internally before it ever becomes visibly external. Renewed thinking produces renewed decisions. Renewed decisions produce renewed actions, and renewed actions eventually produce different results. But if your thinking never changes, your strategies simply become newer versions of the same old pattern. And see, that's why clarity matters. Clarity allows you to stop running in circles. Clarity gives you the permission to stop comparing yourselves to someone else. Clarity helps you recognize where you've been operating outside of God's design for your life and for your business. I've watched talented, faithful believers spend years trying to fix marketing problems that were really just alignment problems. Once they understood how God designed them to lead, communicate, serve, and build, everything changed, not because the market changed, but because they stopped fighting against the way that God created them. That doesn't eliminate hard work. It gives hard work direction. It gives your effort purpose, and it gives your business consistency. It gives you peace because you're no longer chasing every new opportunity that appears in your feed. You're building intentionally, you're stewarding faithfully, and you're walking confidently. So if you've been feeling stuck, don't immediately assume that you need another strategy. Just start asking a better question. Am I solving the right problem? Because if the diagnosis changes and the solution changes, see, that's exactly why I created the Aligned Archetype Assessment. This isn't another personality test. It's not just another business quiz. It's designed to help you uncover where your identity, leadership style, decision-making, and your business approach may be working against each other. The goal isn't more information. The goal is clarity, because clarity comes before the confidence, and confidence comes before consistent action. Consistent action produces lasting results. So if today's message describes where you are, I want you to take the next step. Don't guess, don't assume, just comment assessment, and I'll send you the Aligned Archetype Assessment, and you can figure out where exactly you are so you can know exactly what you need to do next to get where you need to be. God bless. You have a great day. Bye-bye.